How can you merge multiple access tables into one, and if needed, remove duplicate records? You can do so by using Visual Basic for applications and SQL statements, which you probably know better as union queries. Let me explain. We have here a form with a tab control that has 3 tabs, and on the first tab we have 2 tables listed in list boxes. I called the first one list LST old, and it's based on the table old employees. The second one is called list new, based on the table new employees. And how did we fill those tables? By using the row source property of the list box. We set that row source with VBA. How would you do that? You would use the form load event, which is in the property of the form, the event on load, and we put code in there, VBA code, and it's called automatically form_load. Let's talk to the first list box, list old, and we set the row source to nothing, double quotes, and then we fill it with the table old employees. You could skip the previous line. This one will replace whatever was in there. You do something similar for the list box new, and I have a third list box in this form, the list union, and that is also set to nothing. Okay. You probably want to maximize the form. You use the do command, which is a very powerful one in Access VBA. Once we go to the second tab in Form SQL, we find there a button that we call CMD Union. This list box is called List Union. It is still empty because it has to be filled by clicking on this button, and then we combine the old and the new table into one, and we eliminate duplicates. So that will be a merger of 2 tables, or as many tables as you want. In addition, we want to offer the option of creating a table version of the merger. Otherwise we don't have a table that has the new merged table. When someone clicks on that button, the code is going to work, and it's going to fill that second tab with the merged records without duplicates. How did we get rid of those duplicates? We will discuss that soon. And then it asks you, do you want to store these unique records in a new table? If you click on yes, it's going to create a table. It will say you are about to paste 17 rows into a new table. When you click on yes, it is going to do that, and you will see in the left panel that there is a new table merger. You may have to press F5 to update the left panel after you click in there. Okay. So that was the command union button. We put in there a code for a union query by using SQL statements. What would the SQL statement be? It would be based on the keyword union. Select, the asterisk stands for all the fields unless you specify them, from table 1, union, select all the fields from table 2, and it will combine those 2 tables into one without duplicates. If you want to include duplicates, you also use the all keyword. The rest is the same, but instead of union you say union all. Let's use that trick in this command button click event. We declare a variable of the string type, an S table of a string type, and an object type variable of the table definition type. Fill SQL with an SQL statement. Select all the fields from the old table union. Select all fields from table new. And make the row source property of the listbox union set to that SQL statement. Then we ask through a message box, do you want to store all these unique records? Unique because we used union and not union all, so there are no duplicates. If you say yes, we close the if statement, and we are going to ask the user how would you like to name that new table. Let's say by default table merger. Then we try to find out whether there is already a table merger, for otherwise we would create a problem. So we loop through the variable OTD of the table definition type for each table definition in the current database. This is the collection of table definitions. For each individual table definition in all table definitions, we loop through them with a next statement. If the name of the first one or the second one or the third one is already S table, then we add the number 1 to S table. Then we use the union statement, that we put everything into a new table. You do that with a SQL statement. Select all the fields into a new table from the old table. So that's what the code is going to do. The SQL statement is now select all the fields into S table is the new table with the name table merger or table merger 1, table merger 1, etc. From the SQL statement was this old one that was based on the union statement. And because this is what they call an action query, we have to run that SQL statement, and we use the do command option again. Then we have a third tab in that form that has a list box called list combined. It combines both tables into one listing and either keeps them all in place, so it's really a merger of both, or maybe you want to remove duplicates. We do that through code behind the command clean button. When someone clicks there, we get the list of all the fields. There are duplicates in there at this point. So we are going to say, do you want to remove duplicate record? If they say no, we leave it this way, otherwise we will clean it up. Let's do that in the command clean click event. We declare again a string type variable, an object type variable of the table definition type. This time we use the union all SQL statement. That gives us a real merger. All records will be combined here. Then we ask the user, do you want to remove duplicate records? If they say yes, then we have to do so, otherwise we can leave it the way it is. So this time we need the union statement, not union all. Put that in list combined. We have to requery the list box. We check through all the tables whether there is already a table clean. If there is, this time we are going to delete that object by using the do command again. And then we run the statement select into table clean from the union statement with or without all. And we got a cleaned up list, let's say. No duplicates. However, there can still be duplicate social security numbers here. So we create one more command line, and that is a query that I'm going to call query duplicate social security numbers. That's going to find only the records that have duplicate social security numbers. We do that through the command button SSN. This creates a stored query. So we are going to put the query right up here. The other SQL statements were not really stored as a query. This is called a stored query. And there is that stored query. And it looks like this. It says we found 2 cases where there was a duplicate social security number. How do you fix that? There is no code that can do that. The user has to do this. That's why we needed a real query. And the user is going to call these people and say, hey, is this your real number, or what is wrong with that record? That is a manual fix. But the automatic part can be done in a click event again. This time we declare also a query definition object. We select the field social security number from the old table. We group by social security number having a count of the social security number greater than 1. Having keyword is similar to the where keyword, but it acts on group by keywords. Then we select all the fields from the table old where the social security number is in that previous SQL statement and order by social security number. So we got similar identical social security numbers together. Then we ask, how do you want to call that query? If someone cancels that input box, then we stop the entire sub. I should really check whether that query already exists. So we are going to loop through the collection of query definitions in the current database. If we find that name already, query duplicate SSN, we delete that object as query. Then we are going to create a stored query. In the current database, we create a query definition based on the name as query by using the SQL statement that we have shown here way on top. We open that query and let me show you how that works in the real database. Let's open the form SQL. It was immediately filled with the records from the 2 tables. We are going to create a union query by clicking on this button. There is the union query, no duplicates. Do you want them in a table? If you say yes, it asks for the table name. It says we are going to paste 17 rows into a new table. Yes. If you want to see that table, click there and press F5 and you will see the table merger. Then we are going to go to the third tab in the tab control. We combine them and clean them up. Do you want to remove duplicate records? I'm going to say yes. So the duplicate records are gone. We are going to paste those into a new table. If you had said no, it would paste all the records, even the duplicates, into a new table. If I say yes, then we should have there a new table. F5. There is the table clean. Now we are going to see, are there still duplicate social security numbers in the query duplicate SSN? We don't have that one yet. And it says we found these records where this social security number is the same as that one. We have to fix those records manually. You want to know more about Access and Access VBA. Here are 2 tools that I developed for users of Access, and I think they are very powerful. They are CDs that have more than 1500 slides on each one, and they discuss all possible Access items about Access and all possible VBA items that you want to know about. You can find these at mrexcel.com or amazon.com. Just type in my name, Gerard Verschuren, and it will give you a listing of all the tools I developed for you. And I thank you for watching this video.